welcome back to my channel. So in today's video we are going to be talking about monsteras, the different types, as well as their care. We're going to talk about their water, light, and soil requirements. But before I get started with the video, make sure you subscribe, like, and comment on this video. It's a free way to help me out. So first I want to start off by talking about my Monstera Deliciosa, which is very close to my heart because it was one of my first Monsteras ever. I do have four varieties of Monsteras today to show you guys, and then I'm going to go over like the care for Monsteras as I show you the different varieties that I have. The care is pretty much the same across the board for the Monsteras that I'm going to be talking about today. But the first one I have to show you guys is my Monstera Deliciosa. And I got this little guy when he was like a foot tall. He was probably like this big, had absolutely no splits. But I knew with love and care, it was gonna grow into such a big, beautiful plant. And it really has grown so much this year. So let me go ahead and just show you guys. So this is my Monstera Deliciosa. Look at how freaking big it is. So I got this guy, like I said, when it was about a foot tall at the beginning of April 2020. And it is now November 2020, and it has grown so much, has definitely given me some gorgeous like split leaves. And yeah, it has just done so well for me. I would say this is a pretty easygoing plant as long as you find it a good amount of lighting. The watering requirements is not that much, and it's just a very easygoing plant that's gonna grow super, super, super fast on you. So when you do buy one, even if you buy a little one, just know that this thing is gonna grow so freaking much. So I will say that I water this guy probably like once every 3 weeks because I do have him in a plastic pot in here, which tends to retain a little bit more moisture than my typical terracotta pots that I typically use. But yeah, I water him like once every 3 weeks. I have him in a south-facing, west-facing window, and it is absolutely thriving. It loves it there. It gives me so much new leaves. And to be honest, like I know I've heard in the plant community that the more sunlight you give them, the more fenestrations they get, which I'm trying to see if that's like true or not. But what I've noticed with my Monstera is actually the more mature the plant is, the more fenestration it gives. So every single new leaf that it has given, it has been more fenestrated than the leaf before. So I feel like from my personal experience, the more maturation Monstera Deliciosas have, the more fenestrations they're gonna give you. This was previously in an east-facing window, and I saw the same process where it was like the more mature my Monstera got, the more fenestrations it gave me. So I don't know if it's necessarily like a lighting issue or just like a maturation issue where they give you more fenestrations, but it's doing super good and it's growing really, 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 really fast. And it's still growing, and it's November here in Cali, so it's still doing pretty great. So that was my first little baby for sure. And then up next, I have the Monstera Adamosa. So I actually have two versions of the Monstera Adamosa. I have the narrow version and I have the wide version. So first up is the narrow version. And so here's my Monstera Adamosa narrow version. Care is very similar to Monstera Deliciosa, except I have this guy in a terracotta pot and I have a very well-draining soil in it. So I would say I water this guy once every week, but it grows super, super fast. I also got this one this year, and to be honest, I made tons of propagations recently from my Monstera Adamosa, so that's why it's very short right now. and it's kind of leggy because I made a lot of propagations that I will have to show you guys. But yeah, this is a Monstera narrow form. I did have it on a moss pole previously, but I took it down, made a bunch of propagations from it, and I'm just letting it do its thing, grow however it wants. So again, this guy loves a lot of bright and direct sunlight. Watering, it's gonna depend on what type of pot you have it in, also what type of soil, but as of right now, I have this guy in EB Stone cactus soil, and I have a terracotta pot, so I'm watering it once a week. And the roots on this thing are freaking extensive. Like, I wish I would have shown you guys when I repotted him in here. It was amazing. So up next is another Monstera Sonya, but it is actually the wide form. And I actually made a repotting video about this little dude when I repotted him, and you guys were able to see the roots. Again, this guy, same thing. I water him once a week just because I have a really well draining soil on it, and I'm using terracotta. But this is the wide form. As you can see, the wide form definitely has wider leaves. It's a lot more heart-shaped than the narrow form. As you can see, the narrow form is more narrow versus the wide form. So I honestly kind of love the wide form a little bit better. I love heart-shaped leaves. That's kind of what I've been noticing, the pattern of like what I buy. I love heart-shaped stuff. So yeah, I'm absolutely obsessed with this wide form Monstera Adamosa. I have not made propagations of it, and my plan was to make propagations, so maybe I'll get the courage soon to chop it up, but I haven't gotten there yet. Okay, so up next, you guys have already seen it, but I made a video of my gorgeous Monstera Constellation, my first one ever, that I recently got, and it has been doing so good so far. I repotted it into this beautiful terracotta with the EB Stone cactus soil mix, so it's a very well draining soil, and it's been doing so good. So as you can tell, I don't know from the last video if you can really see, but this leaf was very immature. It was very soft, kind of like a new leaf, but it has matured a lot more. It's a lot more firmer, a lot more green. It's very sturdy, and it's been doing so good so far. I'm so happy for my Monstera Constellation, and I cannot wait till it gives me a new leaf. I cannot give you guys too many tips on Monstera Constellations yet, just because it is my first one. So I'll have to wait and see how it does. So far, unfortunately, I have noticed some browning right here, which I've seen around the internet that it's pretty common with Monstera Constellations, especially when they're kind of like half moon. This leaf is a little bit half moon, so I'm wondering if it just got burnt a little bit or what's going on. So I'm still kind of playing around with this guy. Do not have too many tips on this Monstera Constellation just because it's still very new to me. And yeah, but it's doing good so far. This leaf is just like doing amazing, and I'm very, very happy to have this guy, and I can't wait to see what progress it will have next year. So guys, that wraps up my Monstera video. I hope you guys found this helpful. Just remember, with any Monstera that you buy, they are gonna grow very, very fast. And their watering requirements is really gonna depend on what kind of medium you put them in, as well as what type of pot you put it in. But typically they just water whenever it's dry. Also give them a lot of bright and direct sunlight. They love south-facing windows, but just don't not give them like super direct sunlight. Give them bright indirect sunlight, and they are going to thrive, and they are definitely an instant gratification plant. So thanks so much for tuning in to today's video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.